Hey everyone, ARM Holdings is an interesting stock, especially gaining popularity because this was a company that Nvidia tried to buy entirely, but the acquisition didn't go through. So now that's gained a lot of interest in ARM Holdings stock because Nvidia was interested, and Nvidia is the most popular company in the world today in terms of investors' perspective, given its role in artificial intelligence. And so in this video, I thought it would be interesting if I made a stock price prediction for ARM Holdings and where it could be by the year 2030. So let's jump right into this analysis. All right, so one of the numbers I'm going to need to make this estimate is what analysts on Wall Street that are following ARM Holdings stock, what they think its earnings per share will be next year. And according to those analysts, they think ARM Holdings will bring in $1.53 in earnings per share next year. Additionally, I need that same number, but for the next 5 years. So not just what analysts think that this company is going to do in 2025, but also what they think this company is going to do over the next 5 years. So according to those same analysts, they think ARM Holdings is going to grow its earnings per share by 44.63% for the next 5 years. Now, that may be true for the next couple of years, but I think this forecast is a little bit too high. I'm going to adjust this forecast downward, but I still wanted to share with you what analysts on Wall Street are expecting from ARM Holdings over the next 5 years, and also share with you that I'm adjusting it downward so that you can come to your own conclusion whether my downward adjustment is too much or whether I should have taken this number as it shows here. So I'll let you come to your own conclusion. That's why I wanted to reveal this number here for transparency so you know where it's coming from. I also need to know ARM Holdings' current share price right now is trading at $125 per share. It's gone sideways ever since exploding in February up to close to $150 per share. I also need ARM Holdings' forward price to earnings ratio. It's currently trading at a forward PE of 63. All right, so now that we have the main components we need, we can start making our stock price prediction. So I mentioned already that analysts on Wall Street were expecting ARM Holdings to bring in $1.53 in earnings per share in 2025. That I got from Yahoo Finance. I showed you where I got that. The growth rate, here's the number that I highlighted and I mentioned to you I was going to be adjusting downward. Analysts on Wall Street were expecting the company to grow earnings per share by 44%. I basically cut that in half to 22% for the next 6 years and extended it out one extra year to get my 2031 earnings per share of $5.04. So this growth estimate I've included in my price prediction is half of what Wall Street analysts on Wall Street are expecting from ARM Holdings over the next 5 years. So between 2024 and 2029, that's what they're expecting. I adjusted that growth rate downward to 22% and extended it out 2 years to get to 2031 to come to the $5.04 earnings per share target for 2031. So if we use that $5.04 earnings per share target for 2031 and we applied the forward PE of 63, then ARM Holdings stock price could rise to $317 per share by 2030, which would be roughly more than 2 times where it is today, more than 2.5 times where it is today at $125 per share. However, I don't think that's the most likely scenario. I also think that ARM Holdings forward PE will decrease. If it decreases to 50, then the stock price could rise to $252 per share, which would be roughly double where it is today. If it falls to 45, then the forward PE falls to 45, repeating myself, the stock price could rise to $227 per share. If, however, the forward PE falls significantly to 20, the stock price could decrease to $100 per share. This scenario also, I feel, is less likely. It's not the most likely outcome. The forward PE of 20 and 63 are unlikely scenarios in my opinion for 2030. I think what's more likely is a forward PE between 45 and 50 given these growth rate expectations. If the company does indeed grow at the rate of growth that Wall Street expect, which is around 44%, then the forward PE is likely also to be much higher because investors would be willing to pay a higher price for a company that's growing at that higher rate. I'm assuming a lower growth rate, which is also going to justify a lower valuation. So my lower growth rate is also making the valuation come down in the estimate. Now, I could be too pessimistic on ARM Holdings stock. I'm certainly less optimistic than Wall Street is on ARM Holdings earnings per share forecast for the next 5 years. So I think it's somewhere between 45 and 50. And so I think for the 2030, my price target for where I think ARM Holdings stock will be is between $225 per share and $250 per share by the end of 2030. Now, it's currently trading at a price of $125 per share. So that would mean that the stock price could roughly double from where it is today. And remember, I'm using pessimistic forecasts for ARM Holdings stock. I've halved the growth rate lookout, and I've also decreased the forward PE. So you could say that my forecast is on the low side. It's a lowball forecast, but I'm not giving a conservative guidance of what I think. I'm giving you my base case. This is the case that I think is most likely. I'm not giving you my conservative case. I'm just giving you the base case for where I think the stock price could be. And I'm also acknowledging that my base case is much lower than what Wall Street expects from ARM Holdings. So I'm on the lower side on this stock here in terms of its prospects over the next 5 to 6 years. And despite the fact that I'm on the lower side, my forecast still concludes that the stock price could almost double from where it is today. Still, given the risk profile for this company, I'm not sure the risk versus reward is worthwhile. I think it's right on the borderline of being worthwhile for this stock. I have this stock rated as a hold. I have it performing in line with the market. So that's why you might think, well, how could you have it rated as a hold and be suggesting that the price could increase by more than, it could almost double? And the reason for that is I think the stock price is going to increase along with the market. So I think the market's also going to increase over the next 6 years, which is going to lift ARM Holdings stock higher along with it. I don't think ARM Holdings is going to outperform the market on a risk-adjusted basis in that time. That's why I have it rated as a hold and simultaneously have a target price that's nearly double from where it is today. I hope that explains why I can have a hold rating on a stock and have a price target on the stock that's nearly double where it is today. So I think that's a fair estimate from my perspective of where ARM Holdings stock price could be by the end of 2030. Before I let you go, let me tell you about the greatest deal on YouTube. With just a click of a button, you can get free financial analysis from a professor with decades of investing experience. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.